So today I just watched a video on how to cry on command by Michaela Blizia. I always what I always try to sound on her name whenever I record these videos. Um. Anyways, I just watched her video. I just want to talk about what she said in the video. Well, not really talk about, just go over it. Um, but she goes through 4 steps uh, that she knows help actors cry on command, and I'll just go through it right now. The first one is yawning. It's a really strange one that you wouldn't really think of, but I do know, like, certain um facial movements or expressions do help you get into that mental mental and emotional area of the mind to be able to experience such emotions. But yeah, yawning is it's something that can be done before you go into an audition, but you wouldn't do it into like you wouldn't do it like while in the middle of it because yeah, it it would just look not good. Yeah. So that's one of the ways she recommends, or at least yeah. The other one would be substitution. And essentially, you would, if you were doing an emotional scene with another person, you would imagine or substitute an actor in that scene with someone you know. And that can work for people, and it has worked for people, but the one problem with that is that she goes into this is that sometimes it's not emotionally healthy to do that because you're imagining something very emotional with someone you closely know, and depending on what kind of history you've had, it's not the healthiest at all. But some actors do it, and it does work. Um, the next one. Next one is backstory. So essentially, you would create a backstory about your relationship with your character, um, and the person you are acting with in their character. So you would essentially write about, oh, they talk about, I don't know, that one time they, you know, um, had, you know, a good time or something like that. Like just like a good memory, or like if there was an emotional scene and someone was dying, it would talk about all the stuff they've done together, or something like that. And what you would do is, yeah, she talks about it in a way. You'd imagine if you were actually, in these like these scenes or like backstory you would write for that character was real, and you would envision it. Um, yeah, she recommends essentially take like closing your eyes, going to a dark room, and just trying to imagine that essentially. But the next one is just acting it, which sounds very simple. What I mean by that is just that. So, say you are in a scene where you're scared, you might be breathing heavily. You would, breathe really fast or heavily to try to recreate the emotional experience of that in your mind. It's kind of like opposite of the opposite of the other step I just mentioned, which including just trying to envision it, but this one has to you get into it just by literally physically acting it, by creating the facial expressions, by doing hand gestures or movements to get into that emotional space, essentially. If that makes sense. And that's it. All right. See ya. Bye.